Absolutely, right.
That's why I just had this moment of, wait, I knew it.
Oh, very good, thank you. So I'm always like, it's so hard to see into the booth. Welcome to the National Archives. Welcome to the National Archives Know Your Records program. My name is Andrea Bassing-Matney. We are broadcasting live from the National Archives building in Washington, D.C. We are so pleased that you have joined us today. Before we begin, there are a few tips I'd like to share with you. For those of you watching online, we will accept your questions and read them to the presenter for you. We just ask that you use the chat feature on this webpage. You will also find several hyperlinks to the presentation slides, a handout, and live captioning. For today's presentation, our presenter is Dina Herbert. She will introduce the Innovation Hub and its exciting developments, explain how the public can help us innovate, and also scan federal documents to add to the National Archives catalog. Ms. Herbert is the coordinator for the Innovation Hub at the National Archives and Records Administration in Washington, D.C. She was previously the librarian for the Iraqi Jewish Archive Project at the National Archives and has held positions at the Jewish Theological Seminary Library in New York and the Johns Hopkins University SAIS Library in Washington, D.C. Ms. Herbert has a BA in Ancient Studies from Columbia University and both a BA and an MA in Hebrew Bible and Ancient Semitic Languages from the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. She received her MLS from the University of Maryland. She lives with her husband and young daughter in Northern Virginia. And now for our presentation on National Archives Innovation Hub, U.S. History, and You. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our presenter, Dina Herbert. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, we're on the first slide. So, good afternoon. I'm Dina Herbert, and I'm the coordinator of the Innovation Hub. I've been working in the Hub for just about 11 months, and we've been doing a lot in that time. So this is the entrance to the Innovation Hub here at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. So what is the mission of the Innovation Hub? We are a new project from the Office of Innovation that is striving to work on innovative ways to move the agency forward by working with the public and the staff. So what that boils down to is many different projects, and we're primarily focusing on 3 of them in the first year that we've been open. The first is citizen scanning, the second is transcription and tagging, and our third is a Wikipedia pop-up exhibit and Wikipedia editing. So those are the 3 main things that I'm going to be talking about with you today. So the first is our citizen scanning project. Citizens like yourselves can come to the National Archives in DC and scan records to upload to our catalog. We can also in this space accommodate events like scan-a-thons if we wanted, and hopefully we are going to be planning some in the future. Our scanning room is a research room. It's monitored by research services staff and follows the exact same policies as all research rooms within all National Archives buildings. So no food, no drink, no bags are allowed in the space, and so on. You do also need a researcher card to enter the space, the same as you would for any of the other research rooms throughout the archives. So why are we doing this scanning project? We're striving to make access happen. In the summer of 2014, in Prologue, the Archivist of the United States, David Ferriero, had wrote, "The National Archives' commitment to open government is clear in our mission. We drive openness, cultivate public participation, and strengthen our nation's democracy through public access to high-value records. In the 21st century, access means digital access. For many, if a record isn't online, it simply doesn't exist." So we are scanning to make access happen, which is one of our 4 strategic goals. And we are innovating the way that we're moving the agency forward through this digitization project. And this is just one of many digitization projects that we have at the archives. We still have our digitization labs. We are still working with partners like Ancestry and Family Search, and we're just starting to work on other opportunities with citizen scanners. So our citizen scanning project, we're asking researchers to commit to at least a file's worth of material rather than individual items. And the reason we're doing this is it's better for our catalog upload. Doing an item by item upload would we just don't have the staff time for it, and it would make our catalog a little disjointed. If we can have one complete file unit up there that our citizens have scanned, it makes for a much easier and searchable experience. So we are also encouraging, so researchers can take home a copy of the scans immediately, and then we will add a copy of the images to our catalog. So if you're joining us in the hub, we hope that you bring a USB, or you can email documents to yourself, email the JPEGs that you've scanned to yourself. We have 12 scanners for citizen archivists to use, including 2 overhead Zeuschel scanners, which can accommodate documents that cannot be put flat down on a scanner. And this is a new way to connect with our researchers, and it helps us put our collection online. You also get the bragging rights to all of your friends and family that what you have scanned is now accessible worldwide and for everybody on our catalog. You can go home and download the PDF after it's put online, share with your family and friends at holidays, and be a part of us. Part of our joint effort and our catalog. So also remember that this is free. You don't have to bring in your own scanner. You don't have to take photos with your camera or your cell phone. You don't have to pay for Xerox copies. You can use our equipment for free. So what have we done so far? We have been pretty busy. Since we opened in July of 2015, so just about 7 months ago, we have scanned a total of 28,000 pages from 1,500 files. These were documents that were previously not scanned, not available online, only available here in DC. So if you're joining us on YouTube, wherever you are, you can now access most of these records. We are currently scanning a small number of series. We are only scanning compiled military service records, pension files, bounty land files, and carded medical records. So we're just getting our feet wet since we've opened. These are nice, easy files, defined files. There are not as many preservation issues. They're pretty heavily requested for genealogists and other researchers. So we want to get a handle on what we're doing, and hopefully in the near future, we're gonna open it up to more material. So stay tuned for that. We also have what we're calling the box of the month. So each month we have several ready-to-go boxes for you to join us and scan. Let's say you're down in DC and you don't know what you're interested in scanning, but you do want to be part of the National Archives catalog. You do want to help scan and put material online. Or you're here and you're waiting for a pull at the research rooms. Maybe you're a federal employee working downtown or another employee working downtown, and you're here on your lunch break and are just excited to be a part of our history. We have ready-to-go material, and you don't necessarily even have to commit to an entire file. You can start something and somebody else will finish it for you, which is not the case when you do your regular research and scanning. Right now we're working on compiled military service records from the War of 1812, and we've put a fair number online already, and we have a lot to go. The files are short, they're easy, they're fun to do. So if you're just curious about scanning, if you want to get your feet wet also, the Box of the Month is an excellent place to start, and we're hoping to continue rotating through more of the compiled military service records from 1812 and other document boxes and other files as we continue to add more series to the Innovation Hub. So what have we found so far? We've found some pretty interesting documents. The first is we have found, this was just scanned a few weeks ago by a staff member here at the National Archives. A tintype was found in a pension file for Randall Nash from Record Group 15. And on one of our National Archives blog for Rediscovering Black History, our staff member did a post on this, and Randall Nash's unit was first designated as the 4th Regiment Colored Infantry of Missouri Volunteers, and was soon renamed to the 68th United States Colored Troops Infantry. So his pension file was actually listed under Randall Talbot, which was an alias. The tintype was used to identify him because no one knew Nash by any other name in his infantry unit. And so the use of aliases make it difficult for surviving family members to collect pensions when they're filing these files with the government. In several cases, former enslaved black men who served during the Civil War would use an alias to prevent recapture or take on a free name. And so this was written up by our staff member Jesse for the blog post, and it shows you the kind of stuff that we can find in the National Archives records and what we're finding in the hub. The picture found for William Strong from Record Group 94 was also found. This was in a compiled military service record. This was from the first the first file scanned in the hub. And finding photographs is always fun. There are also letters that are found. These two letters from Christopher Columbus, from also the 68th U.S. Colored Troops Infantry Regiment to his wife. We'll often in the pension files find letters to identify the connection from the pension requester. So these were love letters. It's sort of hard to read. I had to shrink down the images. I promise online the images are much clearer. But they're these lovely, lovely love letters, and we found a few of these. So there's a lot of opportunities to find some fun stuff when you're scanning in the hub. So who should be using the Innovation Hub scanning room here at the archives? We encourage all researchers who are in DC and interested in free scanning. Remember, this is free. You don't have to bring anything. You don't have to pay for your copies. I will give the caveat again that you have to at least do a file's worth of material and understand that our scanners are not super fast. This isn't like pulling out your smartphone and taking, click, 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 click. The trade-off though is the images you take on your smartphone are pretty crummy when you look at them later. Your camera might be good, but our scanners are better. So the images are going to be crisp and clear. And that's because we're adding them to the catalog. We're not putting in crummy photos. We're putting in really high quality photos for other researchers to download and be able to really look at on a high quality JPEG image. So if you're interested in contributing to our catalog and you're working through some of these series that we're working on now, this is a great opportunity for you. Anyone can also come and contribute to the box of the month. And again, we hope to bring in more groups, more series into the hub soon. So just we'll keep you all updated when we start bringing in more. Right now, we are physically located here in Washington, D.C., which means that unless you are physically here, you cannot use this aspect of the hub. Perhaps in the future, we'll be able to roll out more innovative ways throughout the National Archives, throughout the country, to work on how more opportunities for citizen scanning. So we'll see how this project goes and see what we do in the future. So we have the scanning room, and we also have a meeting area, which is where we do some of our other projects like tagging and transcription and Wikipedia and other things which I'm going to talk about. So we have a meeting area which is intended for the staff and the public to host events. This isn't just a regular old conference room. This is a way to look at what we're doing, our records, and why we're doing it, and think of innovative, cutting-edge ways to engage with our customers and engage with our records. We also encourage people to come and tag and transcribe. We have Wi-Fi. We have our own separate Wi-Fi from the research room, so you can come and use our bandwidth and tag and transcribe records and edit Wikipedia articles and so on. So what have we done in the meeting space? We've had a whole bunch of different types of events, and just a couple of them. We've had a Wikipedia edit-a-thon, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We have had SNAC, which is Social Networks and Archival Context, a cooperative program hosted by NARA. We had their kickoff meeting, and these are just some images from the meeting that we had during the Wikimedia conference in October of 2015. We had the hub open as a hacking space. We've had meetings with Wikipedia and government, and other organizations have come. Other collaborations, we've had meetings with Google Cultural Institute and the History Hub and other projects that we're working on in the Office of Innovation. And what is on our horizon? We have a couple of exciting things. DPLA, the Digital Public Library of America, is going to be hosting their DPLA Fest here in Washington, D.C. The National Archives is one of the locations where we're going to be having some sessions, and those sessions are going to be held in the Innovation Hub. We're working with GenFed, which is formerly the National Institute of Genealogical Research, Niger, and they're going to be holding their annual conference here in the hub in the summer. And everybody take out your pens and pencils and mark your calendars or pull out your smartphone calendars. Friday, March 11th, we're having another Wikipedia edit-a-thon, and Friday, April 8th, we're having our first transcribe-a-thon, which is the perfect segue to talk about tagging and transcription. So why are we tagging and transcribing our records? Tags and transcription are indexed on the catalog, and it makes things more searchable. It allows us to interact both ways. Both researchers can interact with our records, and our records can interact with researchers and connect with researchers in a different way than just a static piece of paper or electronic email. This is part of our strategic goal, again, to make access happen, to connect with customers. Again, in the hub, we have 2 public PCs available that are earmarked just for tagging and transcription. Again, April 8th, we are planning our first Transcribe-a-thon, and this is not only going to be in person, we're also going to be having the virtual Transcribe-a-thon happen at the same time. So I'm just starting to work on the plans for that, so stay tuned for more. I hope this is not the first time you're seeing our this part of our catalog for tagging and transcription. And so let me pull out the mouse and so I can sort of show you over here with this first. You can see over here that much of this has been tagged and transcribed. These little blue arrows show what has been tagged or transcribed, and you can always click on them. And when you're ready to view or add contributions, you select this. You do need to log in to the catalog, but creating a login is free, it's easy, it's pretty quick. So the next page you'd see for tagging and transcription is this, and you'd go ahead and select either a tag, or you can select to transcribe. You'd go ahead and you'd edit, and then you can add your transcription. You're going to be prompted to save your work, which you should do often, and there's a lot of ways to improve. If something has already been transcribed, you can go ahead and double check. Make sure that things are spelled correctly, and that because there's so much handwriting, which is one of the reasons we need to do transcription. We can't catalog, we can't, these things handwriting isn't machine readable. So if you want to make it searchable, you have to transcribe it. Things that are typed are often machine readable. But anything handwritten, which is a big part of our records, you do need to transcribe. And for many people, certain cursive is difficult to read, certain handwritings are difficult to read. So if you're a really good handwriting expert, go ahead and check out some of these. People leave question marks where they don't know what it says. So go ahead and add in what you see, and help make our catalog better, and more people can find the records that they need. So this is our Wikipedia space in the Innovation Hub. We're continuing our collaboration with Wikipedia here at the Archives. And the Wikipedia space is a physical learning space intended to promote understanding of Wikipedia and Wikimedia projects at cultural institutions. So this installation the Innovation Hub installation is the first prototype of a project developed by Professor Andrew Lee of American University, and he received funding for this from the Knight Foundation. We're hosting it as part of our Wikipedia engagement. We're hoping that it will, the pilot is being staged in the hub in the hope that experiencers at the National Archives site can help creators understand what this prototype can do, and how it can be replicated in other spaces like libraries and archives and museums, universities, classrooms, and so on, to spread digital literacy and public information. So the Wikipedia collaboration, the Archives has hosted several edit-a-thons for Wikipedia. We had our first edit-a-thon in the Innovation Hub in December. We had 26 participants on a Friday, which we were pretty excited about for our first event, and we made 68 edits, to 45 Wikipedia articles. So we're hoping to do these pretty frequently. The next one is going to be, again, Friday, March 11th, and our topic's going to be Women in the Military for Women's History Month. And again, you don't have to be in DC to participate in these events. There are plenty of opportunities to participate virtually, and what we'll probably be doing when we have any speakers or topics of conversation is doing either a Google Hangout or a Google Chat so that anybody anywhere can participate. So this is our website. So again, please take out your pens and write down or copy this URL down. Archives.gov/innovation-hub. And you can keep apprised of what we're doing. There's a great video produced by the staff here about Wikipedia and the Wikipedia edit-a-thon we did and our connection and our collaboration with Wikipedia. You can find out about events and other projects that are going on in the hub through our website. So what can you do from us? And I just want to start by apologizing. I just noticed this image was not the one that I wanted. If you are local and in DC, come stop by and see Miss USA. This is the original poster, and we got our staff here to sort of play with it a little bit and make it a little fun. And it says, innovation waits at your fingertips. Keep them innovating, Miss USA. So please stop by and see our Miss Innovation in the hub. Because she is going to inspire you to do lots of great things in the Innovation Hub and throughout the archives. So stop by to scan, to transcribe, to tag. And again, except for the scanning, everything we're doing is virtual. So you don't have to be in DC to participate in the Innovation Hub. Our hours for the physical location, though, are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Our scanning room has slightly different hours. We're open from 10 to 5 every day except Wednesday, when we're open from 1 to 5. And we do that to process the scans that you're producing. We have some other partnerships that we're working on. We have just started a partnership with a DC organization called Latino Tech, which is a community for coders in the DC area, for Latino coders in the DC area, and we're just starting a partnership with them to work on some hacking of our records and other ways that they can help us innovate around our records and our processes. If you have any ideas, we'd love to hear them. This is how we innovate, by talking to our researchers, talking to our staff, talking to the users of the archives, and figuring out great ways that we can work together. So connect with me, stop by, and you can reach me at the Innovation Hub at nara.gov. On social media, you can follow our hashtag ArchivesInnovHub, and there's so many possibilities that I'm excited to work with everybody, for both people who are located in the DC area and our partners throughout the country. So thank you very much, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Dina. I don't know if anybody can hear me. If you have a question for the presenter, thank you again. For those of us watching online, you can now submit your questions to us via the chat feature on YouTube. Invite anybody here in the room with us to make their way down to the microphones in the aisles, and that way we can capture your question and everyone else can hear it. And it looks like we do have a question in the room.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. You said you were inspired by Ancestry and Family Search, because I know they have the public help them to digitize some of their records. But are you working with them, or are you just inspired by them?
If I used the word inspired, that was not the right word. We are continuing our partnerships with Ancestry and Family Search. This is just a different avenue for digitization. So we have all of these different ways to get records online. We have our digitization departments and labs in the archives. We have our partnerships with Family Search and Ancestry, and now we're looking at new ways for citizens to become partners with us. So we're continuing those. We are not stepping on their toes. We are not, we're working in parallel with them. We're not, ending our partnership by any means. We're, continuing to just get more material online. So there might be possibilities that we can do some of the work in the hub or with other, as just a space for our Ancestry or Family Search, but others in the Office of Innovation would know sort of more about those possibilities, or but we're just another parallel avenue for digitization.
And how do you decide on which files to scan? Is it everything in the archives or just certain files, or?
So again, we're just starting with certain series of these compiled military service records, pension files, bounty land records, and carded medical records. These are pretty heavily requested items. Many genealogists use them for finding their family history. Because we are asking researchers to commit to at least a file's worth of material, these were a very good way, a good group of series to start with. The files are pretty easily defined. So usually an envelope is a file, or a group of carded medical records are a file. And in other series, that the file can be a little squidgier. So this was a good way to start with that. Things that have been digitized are not being brought down to the hub, or things that partner projects are going to be digitizing from these series are not being brought down to the hub, because we have these agreements with the partner projects. When a researcher comes to the National Archives and they request their material, if it's from these series, members of the research services staff will say, do you want to look at them in our research room, or do you want to go down to the hub and scan them? Or a researcher can say, I'm interested in these 3 pension files from my ancestors. Can I scan them in the hub? And the answer is going to be probably yes. So that's how we're getting records down to the hub. And our box of the month are just sort of ready to go in the hub.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Gina. That was great answers. I'm going to step up here with you. It looks like we don't have any questions from our online audience. Thank you for participating. You had mentioned several edit-a-thons coming up. So if you have any questions that you didn't get to ask, I encourage you to use the email address you provided, innovationhub@nara.gov. I'd also like to put in a plug for one of our coworkers. One of our upcoming programs on March 29th is Updates to the National Archives with Jason Klingerman, who works here as an archive specialist, and he'll demonstrate recent updates to the National Archives catalog and how you can use it to further your research using that online tool. So again, that's March 29th. So thank you so much. Are there any other questions before we end our program? I just thought of one for you. Are there any age requirements for people who come into the Innovation Hub?
Right. So the only age requirement is the same age requirement as the research rooms, which I believe you have to be 14 years old to get a researcher card. So if you're planning on doing scanning, you would need to meet that age requirement. We haven't thought about other age requirements, so I think anybody is welcome. If you're under 14 and are interested in coming down to our space for tagging and transcription, we can probably accommodate you. So, but you do have to be over 14 and over to scan.
Okay, thank you very much. So this concludes today's Know Your Records program. Thank you for attending. Again, this program will remain online on YouTube along with the presentation slides, the handout, and we'll soon have the transcript available as well. Thank you for attending. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Do I do anything with the
Nope,
computer?
you're good.
Okay.
Yep.